the things that have and have not changed about Asians, like sensitivity. Oh yes. Oh yes.
Everything that you do in a video, people are going to have an opinion about and let you know it.
Definitely. And I feel like what she's saying about being reckless is, I mean, it's very hard. Like, I made a video about feminism this past week. I was so nervous the entire time I was filming, the entire time I was editing. I was like waiting for it to upload, just watching the bar, like, oh god, this is a hot button topic. I don't know if I can do this. I think I canceled the upload twice.
No.
I did, and then I was finally like, you know what, it's gonna be fine. And then the comment section is totally off in crazy land, but nobody's mad at me. So that's good.
That's good. A+.
Thank you.
And I think that it's interesting that a lot of the same issues and a lot of the same thoughts were happening back in like 2007, 2008. That there was a lot of that fear of, is this the place where I can kind of be at my most honest and be at my most true and say the things that maybe people aren't saying. And I think that that's even more of a struggle now, because now all of a sudden you have advertisers attached to things, you have brand deals, you have networks, you have the eyes of a lot more people watching you. So it becomes a little scarier of like, can I really make a video where I'm just angry or I'm upset about something and I say whatever I want with no repercussions, because it's kind of not that world anymore.
I think YouTube as a whole is moving towards a more old school media way of doing things, which honestly is such a shame. Because what she was saying about like TV tells you what you want to watch, and now YouTube is telling you constantly what it thinks you want to watch. But what I liked about what she was doing, like, I mean, I liked how honest it was generally. I liked the whole video. Yeah. Let me think about a new way to introduce that thought. I thought her call to action was great. Yeah. And she was just like, guys, just do it. It's okay. Don't be afraid.
The thing I like about like a video like that is that something that, I mean, granted being on a big screen, you can see that video was made in 2007, but it feels contemporary. It feels like this is something that someone would put up today, and it would be a lot of the same issues that we're going through. As content creators and as women on this site, you deal with a lot of backlash for the things that you say and a lot of two-way thinking as far as what you can do and what you can't do. So I think that it's interesting. I think there's always going to be kind of an underground community. I think there's always going to be people that are stepping outside of the box and aren't afraid to kind of make a mess. And especially, even regardless of how many subscribers you have or how much is going on, I think it's important to kind of maintain that spirit of, at the end of the day, why do I want to be like everything else that is on television or something else when I can say the things that not everyone's saying and have an audience for that and have people that actually want to have legit discussions and conversations and comments if the comments are working. Guru videos is that it's one of those things where I feel like people don't take it seriously. A lot of people don't take it seriously, but I would say makeup gurus probably bring in the most income off of YouTube. Probably. I think Michelle Phan specifically is a very smart businesswoman. Like, she has her own makeup line. She has her own company. She's part of the Ipsy bags, the subscription that you get every month. So it's interesting that people will look down, I think, sometimes on makeup gurus or just generally that area of YouTube.
And well, it's pretty.
It's very pretty.
Pretty
it's very, very pretty.
Can't be serious.
No, of course not. But it's interesting to me that tends to be the place where people are, doing really, really well and doing really cool work. And I mean, Michelle Phan's one example, but there's so many amazing makeup gurus. And I don't do really makeup, but I watch them fascinated. So like Peterloo, Next Sparkage, and all these people I'm just obsessed with.
We've got a fair number of dudes in the audience, yes?
It's okay.
Quiet,
it's okay.
There. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable or put you on the spot, but have you? And you don't have to talk. Just raise your hand. Have you ever felt like you couldn't do something that was feminine?
Now we're all gonna hug.
I'm just curious, because I have a lot of guy friends. And they have, not that they've been I really want to wear a dress today, but I can't. But they will say things I'm so, I keep getting described as effeminate, and they're really bummed out about it. I'm you're pretty. That's great. And I think she does a really good job of touching on those kinds of issues.
I think she does a great job of of just taking things, again, that we don't, just like Tuscaloosa, we don't think about when we say it. We don't realize that we're kind of backing people into a corner, making people, because here's the thing. When you out loud say, like, oh, you reference someone else doing something, and you're like, oh, I can't, how do I phrase this? Like, if you, first of all, I hope that none of you use the word like it's so gay or something like that, because that's just so awful, and I hate that phrase so much. But when you shame other people around you, you make comments about their choices or the things they do, and talk about them, if it's being effeminate or anything like that, as being less than, you're kind of making that same statement to everyone else around you that's friends with you. So you're saying that about someone else, you're not thinking about it, you're kind of saying to your friends, hey, if you do this thing, I'm going to think the exact same thing about you.
And I think that goes like not just for gender issues, but for any kind of sort of negative judgment that you just throw out, unthinking. There's probably going to be somebody around you who either has done that thing or like feels like you're judging them or judging someone that they care about. Which, I mean, for me just means try to be more polite and nice, but it goes deeper than that.
It goes way deeper than that. And I think that it's interesting, just like the commentary that we have about other things and how that is something that a lot of us will internalize. I know what it's like to feel like when you hate yourself and you feel like I can't do something because other people tell me I can't, whether it's because I'm big or because I'm a girl or because I don't have X, Y, Z. And it's interesting that the internet is a place where you do face a lot of hate and you do face a lot of people having opinions about what you do. And it can scare you. It can deter you from doing the things that you want to do. But it's also a place where the underdog is kind of the cool kid, and where people are, it's almost like you want to find people who have that kind of viewpoint and who are just talking real shit, So, because you don't find it all the time on television or anything. YouTube's a place where anyone can make a video, and some of the most honest, real things come out of that. You're okay. The footrests are, they're a real situation.
They're really confusing.
They're really confusing. I'm trying to balance my ass on this chair right now and not fall.
I don't know if this is the case. I was listening to that, and I think everybody has insecurities about their physical appearances or, just their emotional appearances. And I wish that I had found a video about this, because it only just occurred to me right now. But I think that, oh man,
it's so good.
Here we go.
Oh,
I think that a lot of the time it's very difficult to make videos like that, not just because of the physical side of things, but because of how people judge you when you are emotional, or if you have some sort of like mental illness, or which, like, as a phrase I hate so much. When I was younger, I had severe depression, and so when I was listening to that, it wasn't like I felt that way because I don't like the way I look. It was like I felt that way because I had no friends, and it's very difficult to show that kind of things because people don't like to listen to you being sad. They don't like to listen to you being angry. They don't want to hear about the bad things that are happening to you unless they're over, because then it's fine. And I think that for me, one of the things that helped bring me out of that place was making friends finally, and having a support system. And I think that the same thing happens on YouTube. Is that there are just groups of people who will have your back. I think that a lot of the time we forget, as people, how much we can do, and we get kind of confused and nervous because other people are telling us what they think of us and what they think we should do and how they think we should live our lives or express our thoughts and opinions. And usually if you take a minute and just sort of quiet all of the outside voices, like, you know where you want to go, and you know what you want to do and how you want to say what you want to say. And I don't think that we should let other people determine where we're going with our lives or what we're doing with our content. So if you want to make videos, make videos. And if you want to, I know there's been a lot of profanity today, and I've just been sitting here like, my mom would be so angry.
I was fine with it.
I personally am cool with it, but like my parents have been like, not so into it.
I think it's the thing about this site is that, there is content that is very appropriate for certain ages, and there are things that, like, especially with the Tatiana video that I chose, I forgot how many bad words she said that. Like halfway through, I was like, well, she said the F word about 6 times now. So this is a super family-friendly show. But I think that sometimes you have to forgo what's appropriate for what's real and what's honest. And I think that video I obviously moved quite a few of you in the audience. I heard people like getting very upset about it because it's so true. It's so true. And sometimes you have to forego the editing and the appropriateness of something to get the message. And I think that's a place, and YouTube is the place for that. Like, what we're doing is exactly what we should be doing.
I think as well that, like, with regards to, like, profanity or crudity or however you want to spin it, it's sort of more the effect that's important, isn't it? Like, if you're using curse words to, like, aggressively or against someone else or, like, in a mean fashion, then you shouldn't. But you should also just not be a dick. If you're using it to emphasize your point or to like color up your language, sorry, then I don't think that it is a problem, and that's just where I'm coming up from that. But yeah, you know, do what you want to do, say what you want to say, fuck it.
That YouTube is a lot of people's jobs, and if they say something, they might not be able to eat later that week, or you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is always, again, it's always a concern. I think, you know, especially if you're doing things like brand deals, you're doing whatever, you have to make sure that you're carrying your voice through. I think it's getting easier. I think that when we first started and it started becoming a career, that it was really hard to talk to companies and say, this is what I do and this is what works, because they want to just I just want to take your audience, I want to take it. I don't care about what you're doing. And I think that companies are becoming more aware that there's a reason why these people are successful, and tapping into that means cooperating and compromising with those people, because apparently creatively they are doing something very right. So I think that there is that concern, but I also think there's always going to be people that kind of shy away from that and are going to do whatever the hell they want. And I think those are the people to definitely look to and follow. Thank you.